If it's Monday night, it is the Wrestling Forum. Hello, friends. It's Ridiculously Over Anthony Floyo here with you for another edition of the Wrestling Forum. Delighted to be here as always. Delighted to have you with us as well as we are about to review the Go Home to Fastlane edition of Monday Night Raw, which was live tonight from the Honda Center, formerly the Pond, in Anaheim, California, the home of the NHL's Anaheim Ducks. We're going to get into that in just a moment. Of course, we'll also have our Mikey's Mindset with the Cerebral Viper Michael Fletcher, as he will give us the latest rumblings around Ring of Honor, Lucha Underground, and I understand he's also going to have some. He's also going to give us a little mini recap, if he hasn't done one already, for the RWA Elite Status show that went down this past weekend at the Chop Shop in Providence. And then I'll have my Tony's take on TNA Impact Wrestling and Thursday Night SmackDown. So all that and maybe some more coming up here on the Wrestling Forum. So joined as always, of course, by the aforementioned Cerebral Viper Michael Fletcher, and fresh off the Raw chat with me on the phone, the one and only Phenom Michael Bullock. And let's send a prayer and a blessing to Michael Bullock, because if you weren't with us on Friday night, Michael Fletcher, you were not with us, but this past Friday night on Strictly Sports, Michael Bullock had some major issues that plagued him throughout the entire show. And it got to the point where he got so frustrated that he just decided to throw in the towel. And quite frankly, I don't blame him. But luckily, it was toward the tail end of the show, so at least it wasn't that bad. So hopefully it holds up for him here tonight in the Almighty Lord's name. So that one's for you, my man. So let's pray for that. So with all that said, let's get into it. Now, I don't know if we should consider this a 2-for-1 deal to start the show. Maybe you might want to. I'm not sure if I should, but it started off with an in-ring segment. We had Dean Ambrose, the Lunatic Fringe, in the ring, cutting a promo about Brock Lesnar and all that stuff, and then he gets interrupted by Stephanie McMahon, and it leads into a back and forth exchange between those two, and then it would lead in to our first match of the night, which would be a rarity here, folks. Usually when you hear the word fatal, you hear, oh, fatal 4-way, right? No. We had a fatal 5-way for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. We had Dean Ambrose defending against Kevin Owens, Stardust, Tyler Breeze, and Dolph Ziggler. Yeah. It was those 5 who went at it for the, I guess you could call it somewhat prestigious, once again, Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. And as I get my notes up here in just a moment. Okay. I just want to make sure I have the correct time of the fall and everything else. Very big show here on this Go Home to Fastlane edition of Raw. Okay. You know what? I think I will consider this a 2-for-1 deal. I think because you had the same guy in there, so why not? So we'll talk about both the segment and the match. We'll do all that because that's how it should be. Unfortunately, I don't have a time of the fall. I thought for sure I'd have one, but I don't. The winner of the match and the new, once again, Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion for a second time, fight Kevin Owens, is your new Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. So, as far as the segment goes, one of the segments of the night, I would probably say third best segment of the night. 2 other segments I thought were better, honestly, even though there was nothing wrong with it. I mean, it was a good start to the show. And, let me see. Yeah, it was a good start to Raw, a brief talking segment that set up a very intriguing match. And, of course, also, and then Stephanie McMahon laid out a caveat during that match, a stipulation. Normally when it comes to those fatal matches, they usually don't have disqualifications. Well, in this case, Stephanie McMahon informed Dean Ambrose that if Roman Reigns wound up interfering in that match on his behalf or anything like that, Dean Ambrose would be disqualified and also would be removed from the Fastlane main event that he's currently in, which is the triple threat match with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, where the winner faces Triple H for the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania. So there you have it. So just wanted to get that out of the way. Third best segment of the night as far as I'm concerned when it comes to the in-ring segment. Two other segments better. As far as the match is concerned, this is a no contest for me, and I know Bullock will agree with me on this. We'll see how Fletcher feels about it. No doubt about it, this was the fight of the night. Absolutely phenomenal. Solid 3.5 stars. This was a fantastic, fantastic way to start the show. All 5 men really worked hard. There was definitely some great near falls in this. Definitely had a feel of Shakespearean drama in there. Believe me, we've been needing some Shakespearean drama for a while now after a rather lackluster Super Bowl and some other things. But at least, man, was that a lot of fun or what? There was never a dull moment. And hey, I was actually surprised to see Tyler Breeze in the match, honestly, considering that he's been a part of what Derek Forever calls the Burial Club, he's been, very low on Vince's radar. He had that little incident a few weeks back where he left early and the suits were very PO'd about it. So, yeah, several questions coming out of this match. I mean, I don't think any of us are going to complain about Owens winning the title. I mean, honestly, if there was going to be a new champion, he was definitely my first choice. There was no doubt about it. Obviously, the big question is whether they are freeing up Ambrose because possibly he could go over on Sunday. And keep in mind, Roman Reigns never used his rematch clause, so there's definitely some intrigue that comes out of this, guys, now that you really think about this. Now that Ambrose no longer has the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, remember, Derek Ferreira, the Hardcore Pipe Bomb, and our Imperial Grand Poobah, what has he been calling for WrestleMania, guys, if you've been reading the sports blog? For Dean Ambrose to defend the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship against Chris Jericho at WrestleMania. Newsflash, Ambrose just lost the belt. So what happens now? So many questions, like I said. And the big question, could they possibly be freeing up Dean Ambrose? Could Dean Ambrose actually have a chance? Could he have a puncher's chance to actually be in the main event at WrestleMania? Could they actually have him go over? And then they could add Roman Reigns, because Roman Reigns, remember, when Roman Reigns lost at the Royal Rumble, did he ever have we seen him use the rematch clause yet, fellas? No. So think about it. We could have ourselves a triple threat main event at WrestleMania yet again, with Triple H going up against both Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. Think about that. And it's also possible that they thought fans read into Ambrose holding the IC title as a sign that he was not a realistic candidate to win on Sunday for whatever reason. So we're also curious to see what this means for the IC title. So there is a possibility we could get another train wreck ladder match for the IC title, or how about, based on what happened at the Royal Rumble, guys, Kevin Owens defending against the man he eliminated from the Royal Rumble, a certain phenomenal one? I'm just full of surprises, aren't I? So, food for thought, gentlemen. Food for thought. I hope you boys were hungry, because I just fed you a lot of it. So, I'm gonna give you boys. There's no better way for you boys to digest than to give me your 2 cents. So, the segment was the third best segment of the night. The match was the fight of the night. 3.5 stars, solid, no doubt about this. So, wish I had a time of the fall, but that's okay. So, Michael Bullock, Phenom. The question I'm about to ask you. I always ask you this. How do you follow that? My gosh.
I don't even know how the heck I follow that. But first, hello friends. This is the Phenom Mike Bullock here for another edition of the Wrestling Forum. As far as the segment goes, I do agree this was one of the top segments of the night. I'll say, in the reign of third best segment of the night, I do agree with you on that. I mean, yeah, first Dean Ambrose was basically calling out Brock Lesnar, hoping maybe to take him to Suplex City again, but then Stephanie McMahon comes out and says, "You want an F5? Well, you're gonna get an F5, but not the one from Brock Lesnar." She said she was going to put him in a fatal five-way match for the Intercontinental Championship, and I'm like, what? Because normally when you hear fatal, I'm thinking fatal four-way, but a rarity of a fatal five-way. And yeah, and of course, like you said, the participants were Stardust, Kevin Owens, Dolph Ziggler, and Tyler Breeze. And then she laid down that if Roman Reigns interferes, he's out of the triple threat number one contenders match, which would of course make it a one-on-one match with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. But so yeah, definitely was the third best segment of the night. As far as the match goes, I'm gonna say 3.25 to 3.5 stars. I mean, I thought everyone did well in this match. I mean, yeah. I mean, I was actually fine with Kevin Owens winning and of course regaining the Intercontinental Championship. Yes, and of course now, of course, Kevin Owens. Well, you forgot a little something, Florio. He now has to defend he has to defend the title this Sunday, and it's going to be against the man that was one of the participants in that fatal five-way match, Dolph Ziggler. It was announced later on that night. So, as far as that scenario that you brought up, it sounds very intriguing, but to be quite honest with you, I mean, I'm already going to go on the record of saying this. Roman Reigns is going to win that triple threat number one contenders match, setting up for Roman Reigns and Triple H to face off for the title at WrestleMania. But you never know. I've seen some crazier things go down before, but so we'll wait and see. But as far as the segment, definitely was the third best segment of the night, and yes, this was the fight of the night. I couldn't see any other match that was better than this. So 3.25, 3.5 stars. So Fletch, your thoughts on the segment and the match?
Well, I really don't have much to say about the segment. All I know is that the segment was definitely good. Um, Everybody played their part pretty nice. Stephanie and especially our boy Dean Ambrose. I definitely have nothing to say about that. But I will say this: when because I was working tonight, so unfortunately I didn't get to see a lot of the Monday Night Raw, so I'm going to have to disqualify myself for at least a good 2.5 hours of the show. As a matter of fact, the only time you're ever going to hear anything from me tonight is going to be at the main event, which was, I can't believe I'll even admit this, Braun Strowman versus The Big Show as your main event for Monday Night Raw. I got a few choice words for that later in the night, but anyway. But as far as the match goes, I actually found out from Bill McConnell, a good friend of mine, and he actually told me that Kevin Owens had won the belt, that it was in a five-way fight, and we started talking, and we're like, and he was kind of almost the same way I was, that it looks like now maybe this is the glimmer of hope for a lot of the fans. I know the IWC was kind of hoping, maybe even praying to see maybe that Dean Ambrose wins it and goes on to WrestleMania to fight Triple H for the belt, and that actually knocks Roman Reigns out of the picture altogether, because of the fact that I think Roman is going to get booed, and a lot of people is probably not going to want him to win it. But it also leads to a theory about maybe Dean Ambrose turning on Roman Reigns and siding with the Authority, and possibly having him work his way up to try to be the next whatever, to be the next authority figure and try to stack against Roman Reigns again, leading into WrestleMania. The one thing, Anthony, you brought up was about the Intercontinental title and what's going to happen with it. Pretty simple. I already know what's going to happen because it's laid in the cards. You pretty much hit the nail on the head. AJ Styles beat Chris Jericho and because I'll bet they'll probably have one more fight at the pay-per-view. I think they do, and he's gonna finish Jericho once and for all. He'll vanquish him out. After that, it prepares the war between AJ Styles and Kevin Owens for the road to WrestleMania. You build that up. You build that sucker up really good. You make us tantalized and think about it. And when the time is right, on that fateful night, and in front of what I believe will be over 100,000 plus at AT&T Stadium, the phenomenal one will rise to the occasion. He'll take down Kevin Owens, and AJ Styles will become a new WWE Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion at the grandest stage of them all, the granddaddy of them all, WrestleMania 32.
Okay, I guess there's no other way to follow that except, yeah. So a lot of scenarios that definitely come out of that. Now that we think about it, so we'll see what happens. So, and yes, Michael Bullock did mention it. Kevin Owens will now be defending the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship at Fastlane against Dolph Ziggler. We'll get into that this weekend. So with all that said, let's just move on to our next match. And, well, interesting matchup here. First of two big men fights. We got New Day member Big E Langston going up against the world's strongest man, Mark Henry. And the winner of the match in 4 minutes and 35 seconds, it was Big E Langston. After Mark Henry, Big E was going for the big ending, and then Henry tried to counter, but then Henry, I guess, got banged up there a little bit. I guess the effects of the match wore on him, and Big E slipped into a cover and got the win. So Big E wins it in 4 minutes and 35 seconds over Mark Henry. So Michael Bullock, your thoughts on this big man fight? And we actually thought this was going to be a mat fight, but it wasn't as bad as we thought it was it?
Yeah, I mean, going into this, when I heard of this match, I was like, oh boy, the typical big man fight, and it's going to be boring. It's going to be a dud. But I thought it was a little bit better than what I expected. I mean, it wasn't anything special. I'll tell you that right now. But I thought the action was fine for what it was. I'm going to give it maybe one to maybe teetering on 1.25 stars. I thought the action was fine for what it was. I mean, yeah, it was too short, but during that time, I thought the action was good. But like I said, but I think it's definitely going to go into one of the low lights of the night. But still, it wasn't as bad as what I originally thought it was going to be. So, yeah, I mean, it looked like when Big E was going for the big end, but Mark Henry comes right off, but it looks like he was in pain, and then that's when Big E gets the win with the pinfall. So, so 1 to maybe 1.25 stars. So I don't know who I toss it to. I don't know if I'm gonna toss it to Fletch, or should I just toss it to Florio, since Fletch did say
Just take it. Just Anthony. Just take
Yeah,
it, man.
yeah, just go.
I won't be able to do it until the main event. So it's basically a 2-man run.
Okay.
Yeah, the S movement here. Okay, so that's cool. All right. Yeah, you rated it what, 1 to 1.25 there, Bullock? Just like we talked about earlier.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure on that. I lost my train of thought for a moment. Yeah, I agree with Bullock's rating. It's between 1 to 1.25, maybe teetering on 1.5, because that match wasn't as bad as people thought. I mean, you were thinking, oh, big man fight, slow, boring, yada yada. No, there was actually some decent action in that, and a couple of good near falls, and yeah, so I'll give him credit where credit was due. So it's a 1 to 1.25 star fight. So So we won't be hearing from Fletch until the main event, which is a shame, but it is what it is. So that's what happens when you have work commitments, nighttime work commitments, I guess. So awkward finish, but that's all there is to say about it. So okay, now a segment that I know Michael Bullock and I are going to have a lot of fun with, because trust me, we had a lot of fun with this when we did our chat, Fletch, and we're going to have some fun with this. Oh, here we go. It was supposed to be an exclusive interview. Byron Saxton was in the ring, and he was getting ready to interview Brie Bella. The story of Brie Bella. Her husband Daniel Bryan announced his retirement a week ago on Monday Night Raw. Very emotional. Greatest segment in Raw history, surpassing the segment that he previously made the greatest Raw segment of all time, the Occupy Raw segment from a couple years ago. On the road to WrestleMania 30, and how that whole thing started. But anywho, Saxton was interviewing Brie Bella. Brie Bella was, speaking her mind, and then moments later, out of the blue, here comes the Divas champion Charlotte, along with Ric Flair, to interrupt. And what happened after that? Well, let's just say it was a thing of beauty. That's all I can say about it. I want to give this the segment of the night, honestly. But there was a Paul Heyman segment later in this show, and you know how we are about Paul Heyman segments. That's automatically the segment of the night. I don't care who it is, even if it was Daniel Bryan. But I had to reluctantly give this the second best segment of the night, even though I want to give this the segment of the night. Charlotte did a very nice job on the mic, silenced a yes chant at one point, very good facial expressions that told the viewers that Brie was right when she accused her of playing the mind games. I like that she continues to take center stage while her father plays more of a background role. Brie's never been a good talker, but Charlotte carried the segment, and Brie held up her end very nicely. And that's all I can say about it. I mean, both ladies were phenomenal. Charlotte was great. That was one of Brie's better talking segments. I mean, like I said, never been a good talker, but I thought she was a great one here tonight. She was fantastic, and then a physical altercation broke out. And then Charlotte took it, and then Charlotte went there, as Michael Fletcher and I would say. You know how we talk about going there? Oh, she went there and then some. And she said she can only imagine what Brie's goat-faced vegan babies will become. Yeah, that's going there. And then that was it. And then the fight was on. They went at it, and then Brie did the Daniel Bryan, the series of Daniel Bryan kicks, of course, which led to to a yes chant there. So if it wasn't for the Paul Heyman segment later in the show, I would have given this the segment of the night. Honestly, I really want to give this the segment of the night because I thought this was absolutely fantastic. Normally, I don't like it when they go the personal route, but I think when it comes to what's going on with Daniel Bryan, and not to mention Brie's twin sister Nikki Bella, who's currently out with that serious neck injury, that neck surgery that she just went that she just she just went through a few weeks ago. So absolutely fantastic, and I got a good feeling about the fight on Sunday night. I really do. I think this could be one of Brie's better wrestling matches too. So probably her best wrestling match, probably since or her best singles match, I should say, since that match she had with Stephanie McMahon at SummerSlam 2014. We all remember how great that fight was. So, fantastic segment. It's only the second best segment of the night because, like I said, Paul Heyman was in there. When Paul Heyman is in the ring for a segment, that's almost automatically the segment of the night. So, that's all there is to say about it. So, Michael Bullock, you and I, man, we saw this segment. We had a lot of fun with it. So, share with our viewers and Michael Fletcher how much fun we had with this indeed.
Oh, yeah, we had a lot of fun with this. I mean, yeah, this was the second best segment of the night. I mean, I gotta give Brie credit. I mean, she definitely held up her end. I mean, it looked like she was gonna talk about her match with Charlotte, Fastlane, and how Daniel Bryan is doing, and then Charlotte, well, had the audacity to interrupt it, and they had a nice. I mean, Charlotte and Brie definitely had a real nice back and forth, and then just when Brie said something, Ric Flair basically took offense to it, but then Charlotte told Rick, nah, you go outside, I got this. And then that's when, well, like you said, Florio, she went. I mean, Charlotte did go there. She went there when she said, well, says I can only imagine what your goat-faced vegan babies are going to become, and that's when Brie basically snapped. She and then did the Daniel Bryan kicks that he does, and then she led in the yes chant. So yeah, and it's gonna make this matchup at Fastlane very interesting. And I read some dirt sheets earlier today. I mean, I heard some rumors that Brie could be leaving the WWE soon, and it could happen maybe after Fastlane. So, or it could even happen after WrestleMania 32. So,
Yeah, and I heard those rumors too, Michael Bullock. Yeah, absolutely.
so there's a possibility that maybe this could be Brie's last match.
Well,
I said a possibility. I mean, I don't know if it's really going to happen, but
well, you do know that they were hinting about starting a family together and everything else.
yeah,
So,
I heard that
and
same
plus,
thing too.
and plus, over the fact that now that Daniel Bryan did indeed retire, um, I mean, the writing does look like it's on the wall. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, and definitely, and because of that, I'm going to go on the record as saying this. I know we'll have a preview show of Fastlane, but I'm going to go on the record as saying this. Now, after hearing all this, I think it's going to be an easy decision. I think Charlotte's definitely going to retain the belt, no doubt about it. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens after Fastlane. If this would indeed be Brie's last match in WWE, because like you said, uh, with Daniel Bryan now retired and then talking about starting a family, maybe this is where maybe Brie hangs it up. But and of course with the problems that Nikki has with her neck injury, even though she is back in the gym training right now, but it's going to be very interesting to see how things develop after Fastlane. So this was the second best segment of the night, and yeah, so there's really nothing else for me to say except Florio, let's move on. But first, what are your thoughts on that?
On what's
With
that?
Brie, with the potential that Fastlane could be Brie's last match.
Yeah. It's we talked about that earlier, and tell you what, I mean, that's definitely a realistic possibility. I mean, because definitely you obviously want to spend more time with your husband, Daniel Bryan, and we'll see. I mean, it would be a blow to the Divas division, obviously, because the Bellas have gotten so much better, and you already got Nikki Bella on the shelf with that devastating injury, with the neck injury, that surgery she underwent, some time ago. So, as much as I've given heat to the Bellas over the years, I said some very derogatory things about the Bellas here on this show, more times than I can count, more times than all of us can count. Bullet too, and but say what you want about them, but it's definitely, you gotta say this is a bit of hard times right now because Nikki Bella has with the neck surgery and all that, who knows how long she'll be out, and of course with Daniel Bryan, announcing his retirement, and John Cena, who's where he is right now with the shoulder and all that. So I don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know right now, guys. So we'll have to wait and see about if it is Brie Bella's last match, and if it is, well, hey, great career for her. Former Divas champion. So we'll give her. We'll see what happens. So if it is her last match, do they give her the feel good moment, the feel good happy ending moment like they did with Trish Stratus? When she went up against Lita in that unforgettable farewell match in Toronto.
I highly doubt that.
I have to say no, Florio. I'm sorry. I mean, it would be a great thing, but I just feel like at this point in the game, leading into WrestleMania, I don't think they're gonna shift anything just because of the fact that just because of the fact that Nikki Brie wants to leave the company. I'm sorry. I mean, the road to WrestleMania is way too important than a person retiring. I'm sorry. I hate to be that guy, and I know that's gonna come across very heel like and almost a almost like a nod, but I mean
You're just
the way
being honest, man.
but I have to be truthful about it. If this was any other time, I mean, because remember, when Trish left, I think she left around like October of that year. So there was no interference with WrestleMania. There was no interference with SummerSlam. There was
Yeah.
no. It was like literally in the middle. So they
And
could.
plus, it was in her hometown of Toronto.
Yeah, so it made it viable where you could work it. You can work around it. I mean, I think at this point in the game, I think everything is set up, at least in WWE's mind, it's set it up. So I think to deviate away from the storyline, it would be a real drastic switch, but I just don't think WWE will do that. I think if Brie decides to say, give me a few more months, then she'll get the feel good moment. But right now, the way that the storyline's going, we already know where it could go. And
And plus, with the dirt sheet that we heard today, it makes it impossible.
well, I don't want to say impossible because there's always that time where they could swerve us, and we could be wrong. We absolutely could be wrong here, gentlemen. But I just think that right now, I think it would be more of a harm and a detriment if Brie Bella's the champion, even though I think Charlotte has done a fine job as Divas champion, and I think we all can agree the big fight or the big money fight that would be the ultimate payoff for all of us is Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha Banks fighting at WrestleMania. Now, if they want to add Brie into the fight and make it a Diva Fatal 4-way, then okay. Then I don't think then that's probably the only scenario that I can see out of it. But
Here's another thing, Fletch. And Florio and I talked about this. I mean, what about maybe? I mean, I know this is a long shot. Maybe have Brie Bella win the match at Fastlane just so she can have her feel good moment, and then Charlotte cashes in the rematch clause the next night on Raw, and then she wins the title back. Just so that way we still have
you
that
know that
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 triple threat match for WrestleMania
you
that
know
we all
that
want.
that actually could be possible. That definitely could be very possible. You could do something like that, or maybe you can do something in a way that Brie wins it, maybe in a controversial fashion. Charlotte has every right to throw the rematch clause in, so she does throw it. Monday night, the next night on Raw, Charlotte wins. Possibly thanks to Ric Flair. Ric Flair either interferes or Charlotte goes pulls one out the back door, and wins the title. So I mean, anything's possible, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, but with the rumors now swirling about Brie possibly leaving, I mean, it kind of threw this monkey wrench in here, and it's kind of left so many things up in limbo, at least in the Divas division. So I mean, there's a lot to play with here than what we had going in about a week ago.
Yeah, especially after the injury to Nikki Bella a few weeks ago.
Yeah, everything was all status quo, and we were all thinking, okay, this is how it's going. But then Brie gets that mega push out of nowhere, and we're like, wait a minute, why is she getting the shot? We're like, don't worry about it. They're probably just giving Charlotte, another opponent before her big fight at WrestleMania. But then Daniel Bryan retires. Nikki's out with had the surgery with the neck injury, and now all of a sudden, out of right field, now we're hearing rumors that Brie might be retiring soon to possibly start a family.
Yeah, hard times for
Mm,
that Divas division.
mm-hmm. True.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll have to see about that. So yeah, a lot to digest here. So we'll see how everything works out, though. We'll see how everything works out. So with all that said, let's just move on to our next match, which was a return match from a couple weeks ago on SmackDown, where we had The Miz going up against the phenomenal AJ Styles. And the winner of the match in 12 minutes and 5 seconds, it was the phenomenal AJ Styles via the calf crusher. So I believe Michael Bullock starts this off. So Michael Bullock, your thoughts on AJ Styles and Miz 2?
Yeah, I thought this was another solid match. I'm gonna give this about maybe an even 3 stars if I'm gonna be quite honest. I mean, I thought both men did really good in the amount of time that they had here, but man, AJ Styles. I mean, I continue to be very impressed with him. I mean, you guys raved about him, of course, in his time in TNA, but now I get to see him here in WWE, and you guys get to talk to me about AJ Styles, and boy, he's lived up to that hype and all the moves that he's that he's done. I've been very impressed with it, and I thought he made the Miz look good in defeat here. So, but then of course after the match, Chris Jericho comes up and AJ and Chris cut a little promo and where AJ's like telling Chris, "Oh, it's eating at you that you want to beat me again." Because remember, the Jericho and AJ Styles have faced each other twice already with it being split at one apiece. So we're getting a rubber match. And Jericho said, "Oh, I'll let you know Thursday night if I'll face you again." I think it's going to happen. When's it going to happen? I think it's going to happen at Fastlane this Sunday. So, but we'll wait and see come this Thursday. But either way, this was a great match. I'm going to say 3 to maybe once again teetering on 3.25 stars because I thought both men looked really good. So Florio, I give it to you now.
Second best fight of the night. There's no doubt about it on my end. Give it between 2.5 to 3 stars. I agree with the rating for the most part there, Bullock. Another solid match between these two guys. I mean, there was some good action throughout, good near falls, and we got to see AJ's Pele kick. You know how much I love the Pele kick. Bullock now knows that firsthand. Fletch, you obviously know how much I've loved the Pele kick. Mainly from the TNA days when we would watch those shows. But oh man, I mean, you got to see the Pele and the calf crusher, which is becoming the best new submission maneuver out there. Great submission hold by AJ Styles, and he would then ask Chris Jericho, how about one more? How about we do it one more time at Fastlane? Jericho says, I'm not sure I want to fight you, and I'm just gonna I'll get back to you Thursday night on SmackDown. So there's already a segment right there. So, but let's be honest here. I think we're gonna get it on Sunday night. I really do. I think we're gonna see Jericho Styles 3 at Fastlane, and when that goes down, right now I gotta say the phenomenal one wins it, and then who knows, maybe possibly gearing up for a possible Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship showdown with Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. Could you imagine how that would go over? Oh, possibilities are endless. So
I mean, just imagine that AJ Styles at WrestleMania.
yeah, fighting for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. Well, how about that?
Boy, if you asked me that about a year or two ago that AJ Styles would be at WrestleMania, I would have said no way. This man will be committed to TNA forever.
Or New Japan,
Or that too with New Japan Pro Wrestling, or staying at TNA, or maybe going back to Ring of Honor.
yeah, but nonetheless, here he is, and he's going to be possibly going against Kevin Owens. Now that we think about it, so like I
Could
said,
you
it's a lot to
imagine
digest.
how that will go down? Kevin Owens and AJ Styles.
In front of 100,000 Raven Texans.
Oh, that's definitely going to put some butts in the seats and eyes on the screen and those network subscriptions up.
Yeah, network subscriptions indeed. I mean, 1.22 million subscriptions as of last check, because they had that conference call a few days ago. So, and I remember that came out of it, the WWE Network, and it's also fifth amongst online streaming services. So that's pretty cool. So, all right. Now we move on to another in-ring segment. This time it was the Dudley Boys. The Dudley Boys cut a promo, and all I can say is another great segment here. Another very good segment here. I probably would say fourth best segment of the night, even though it was a decent promo from the Dudley Boys, and we're hoping. I mean, I know Fletcher and I are hoping, and I know Michael Bullock is hoping for it too, because he's never got to see this character. But Fletch, another TNA character we got to see quite a bit. We're really waiting for Bubba to break into Bully Ray mode in the WWE. We're not quite there yet. So let's just think about that right now. So, but it was a decent promo from the Dudley Boys. Another good heel promo here. We're going to get something with the Dudleys and the Usos eventually, so we'll wait and see how that goes. But it's the fourth best segment of the night for me. So even though it was a fine segment for what it was. So, Michael Bullock, your thoughts on that promo from those damn Dudleys?
Yeah, another solid promo by them, and they continue to look really strong as a heel. So they continue to basically tell everyone, oh, they're not going to use the tables anymore, and basically plug in and say, oh, if you want to see it, you can check it out on the WWE Network. So yeah, so those Dan Dudleys aren't breaking those tables anymore. So, and eventually we're gonna get something with the Usos and the Dudley Boys. When will that happen? I'm not quite sure, but another solid segment here, and I do agree it's the fourth best segment of the night. And this is not the last you'll see of the Dudleys. We'll get into that later on. So, with that being said, Florio, let's move on.
And we move on to the first of two Divas fights. Well, second of three overall Diva segments on this show here tonight. We had the in-ring segment, of course, with Nikki Bella, with Brie Bella and Charlotte, I should say. And then we had two Divas fights, and here was the first one. We had Summer Rae going up against Paige, and the winner of the match in 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Now, you're all probably saying, oh, Paige probably won this match, yada, yada, yada. Easy win for her, squash match, blah, blah, blah. No. We had an upset, folks. Summer Rae went over on Paige. Can you believe that? Summer Rae beats Paige with some kind of unique pinning combination resembling some sort of a roll-up or whatever. But Summer Rae, yes, Michael Fletcher, Summer Rae actually beat Paige here tonight. I am not kidding you.
That has to be the shocker of the year right now in 2016.
Okay.
The biggest upset of the year, and I gotta say it. Okay, did Paige do something? Because this would be the first thing you have to jump out. Did Paige do something now that got her in trouble with WWE Brass? Because there's no way Summer Rae beats Paige. Honestly. If you do this on paper, this is a complete mismatch. But did Paige do something behind the scenes that we don't know about that got her in trouble? That's the only thing we would have to ask.
Very interesting.
I haven't heard anything.
Because that would be the only reason why something like that just happened tonight. If it's the case. But again, somebody's going to have to start doing some research and start looking around. Unless they told her that we want to push Summer Rae a little bit or develop a rivalry between the two, then okay. But there has to be more to the story. There has to be.
We'll definitely have to look into that.
Yeah, but I don't know of any possible backstage heat
Yeah, I
that
haven't
Paige
heard
may have.
anything yet, but we'll definitely have to look into it.
Yeah, we'll have to look into it at some point. So, in the meantime, Michael Bullock, Summer Rae beats Paige in 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Your thoughts on this humongous upset in the Divas division, and the biggest one in the Divas division in quite some time?
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a shocker. I mean, going into this, I was thinking, yeah, Paige is going to be beat Summer Rae, no problem. But no, that was not the case. But either way, I'm gonna say probably somewhere between half to 1 star. I mean, yeah, it was another match too short for my liking, but because of I mean, this was unexpected, and we here at the Wrestling Forum like some unexpected twisted turns, and this is something we did not expect. So yeah, so half to 1 star. Florio, I give it to you.
I'm actually going to tweak that a little bit. I'm going to give it between 1 to 1.25 stars because I thought, this was a solid Divas match, a halfway decent Divas match, and you're thinking, oh, typical ho-hum diva fight, absolute dud, blah blah blah. No, I mean, for the short amount of time they were given, they gave us a solid match, a good match with some good action throughout, and yeah, I agree with Michael Fletcher. I mean, this is definitely the biggest upset of 2016. I mean, hey, you remember last week they put Adam Rose over Titus O'Neil and they put Tamina Snuka over, for goodness sakes. So yeah, Summer Rae beats Paige, and interesting scenario there from Michael Fletcher. I mean, is there any backstage heat on Paige? I mean, not that I know of, and I know not that Bullock knows of or any of us know of right now. But JBL on commentary, he did a nice job of acting surprised by the outcome, and he may have been if he doesn't know what the results are going in. Paige kicked out right after the 3 count, and then Summer taunted her from the floor. So you have to assume this will be a feud here for now. This is just something for Paige to do right now. I guess they want to keep her out of the Diva title picture for right now. And if that's the case, then I assume Paige will get the win back soon. And this is probably just parody booking right now. But it was nice to see an upset that might make viewers pay a little more attention to Summer Rae's upcoming matches. So who knows? Maybe, and of course you heard that other scenario that Fletch was talking about. Maybe they're, considering seasoning Summer Rae a little bit. Give her a little seasoning here. And quite frankly, I would like to see that. I would like to see Summer Rae become a big part of that Divas division, in-ring wise. That would be great. So, all right. So with all that said, we move on to our next segment, which was, ladies and gentlemen, his name is Paul Heyman. And we all know who he is. He is the advocate for Brock Lesnar. Paul Heyman was in the ring. And you're thinking he's just going to cut a promo, yada, yada, about the main event of Fastlane. No. He actually calls out Roman Reigns. He calls out Roman Reigns, and then they have a back-and-forth exchange. So, what else is there to say except this is the fight of the night? I mean, fight of the night, segment of the night. Because, hello, Paul Heyman was in the ring. And Paul Heyman, this is the Paul Heyman who has been missing throughout the build to the triple threat. I mean, we finally heard anything from him. But we finally got to hear it tonight, and that's why he was missing throughout the build of this triple threat. This is similar to the respect that Heyman showed for Reigns, during the build to last year's WrestleMania match, main event match with Roman and Lesnar when they fought for the title in the main event of last year's WrestleMania. They can always go back to those segments if they ever turn Reigns and Heyman together, but in the meantime, it makes for not only unique television, but interesting television as well. So that's all I can say on that. So this was a fantastic, fantastic segment. Heyman, you know his body of work by now. I don't have to get into that. You know how great he is on the mic. I mean, he's the best talker in the game today. And Roman, hats off to Roman. I mean, Roman even definitely, had some moments there. So, but in all honesty, Heyman was the star of the segment. No ifs, ands, or buts, or maybes about it. So, segment of the night, hands down. Even though there were some other great segments here tonight, especially that Charlotte and Brie Bella segment. So that's all I can say on that. So Michael Bullock, his name is Paul Heyman. He's the advocate for Brock Lesnar. He's the best talker in the WWE. Wow. That's the best we've heard from Heyman in a while, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely. This was definitely the segment of the night, and Yeah, Paul Heyman. I mean, he's always money on the mic. I mean, what else would you expect when he's on the mic? I mean, it's almost like when he speaks. I mean, everybody listens, and you thought he was going to cut a promo about the main event, but he calls out Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns comes out, and they had a nice little back and forth. And yeah, you got to give credit to Roman Reigns. I mean, I thought he looked really good on the mic as well. I mean, normally we criticize him of the way he cuts a promo. I mean, usually it's one that people crap all over, but no, this is one that actually made him look really good. And yeah, I mean, both men did really well, and you're forgetting some stuff for you. After the segment was, I mean, after the talking was done, the Dudley Boys come out and start attacking Roman Reigns, and this eventually leads to Dean Ambrose coming out and making the save. So, yeah, and then after that, Dean Ambrose surprises everybody and tries to go for dirty deeds on Roman Reigns, and Reigns basically looked surprised and is like, "What are you doing?" And but then they eventually leave together. So yeah, now we know this Thursday night on SmackDown, Ambrose and Reigns are going to team up against those damn Dudleys. So it'll be very interesting to see how Reigns and Ambrose will do as a team with only with only 3 days and counting until their triple threat number one contenders match happens at Fastlane. So yeah, so this was definitely the segment of the night. So with that being said, Florio, let's move on.
Yeah, Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose going up against those damn Dudleys Thursday night on SmackDown. Very intriguing tag team main event, to say the very least. And not to mention, Brock Lesnar will be there for the first time in 12 years since the build to WrestleMania 20. So, yeah, that ought to be that's going to be must-see TV on Thursday night. In a whole different way.
A trip to Suplex City.
Indeed. So, now we move on. And now this is where the show goes downhill, and not in a good way. I reckon it could be time for a Michael Bullock I Can't Take It face coming up here, because we had the leader of the Rider Revolution. Yep, there it is in all its glory. The Michael Bullock I Can't Take It face.
You ask, you shall receive.
And here's the reason why I asked for it, Fletch. Because it was a match. Hey, we got to see your boy, Fletch. The leader of the Rider Revolution, Zack Ryder.
One of the members of the Hype Bros, now of NXT.
One half of the Hype Brothers from NXT, along with Mojo Rawley, of course. And, Zack Ryder was in a match against, I guess you could say, the leader of the social outcasts, Heath Slater. And yes, Heath Slater was out there with all his social outcast brothers, Curtis Axel, Adam Rose, and Bo Dallas. Winner of the match in 2 minutes and 10 seconds, it was Heath Slater, who went over with an Impaler DDT. So I believe. Does Bullock start this off, or do I? I think I led off on. Who does?
I do.
It's Bullock. It's Bullock.
Oh, you know what we have to say about that. I don't envy you, man.
No. Get the you-know-what out with that bullshit. Dud. I mean, what does this have to do with the Fastlane pay-per-view this Sunday? I mean, anybody? Can someone please tell me what does this have anything to do with it? No,
Nothing.
It has nothing to do with it.
Nothing.
I mean, you're building this Fastlane pay-per-view that's happening this Sunday, and you're giving us a crap match like this?
It's just straight filler.
No. Pointless, unnecessary, unacceptable, inexcusable, irresponsible, borderline reprehensible, and just plain stupid on the part of WWE. I mean, what a way to waste time on this edition of Monday Night Raw. So thanks a lot, WWE, for screwing this thing up. You bastards. Move on. I'm done.
This just in. Don't upset the Phenom Michael Bullock, because if you do, well, he'll have the brass to go on a rant. So that's all I can say about that. So yeah, absolute
I'm
dud.
going to go on a rant when it comes to about a certain match for Fastlane.
Holy cow,
Oh.
man! Holy cow, man! He just channeled the Cerebral Viper and just outdid me.
Who knew Michael Bullock had a dark side, huh?
I guess so, man. He's sweet and innocent. My ass.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try my best.
When I see a dud match or a dud segment or something that really pisses me off, oh, watch out.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit. So, absolute dud, worst fight of the night. Bullock pretty much touched on everything, so I'm not going to even waste. I'm not even going to waste anybody's time on this. So, we got better things to talk about. And coming up, well, we had ourselves a six-man tag team match. We had the Lucha Dragons and Adrian Neville going up against the League of Nations. Sheamus is back. You know, Sheamus was having some shoulder trouble recently. I guess he's been cleared, so that's good news. So Sheamus is back along with Rusev and Alberto Del Rio. They had King Barrett in their corner. Winners of the match in 9 minutes and 20 seconds. It was the League of Nations via Alberto Del Rio with the Warriors Way, a unique Warriors Way from halfway across the ring, or from a distance rather. So I'd say this was the third best fight of the night. I'm gonna give it a solid 2.5 stars for the effort. I mean, Del Rio performing his finisher from a distance was pretty cool, but Sin Cara holding himself in that position looked ridiculous. They filled 10 minutes of television time on a show that ran out of steam after that Heyman and Reigns segment, and they overdo. How many times have we seen them overdo the distraction finish? And we actually had to see it in a couple of back-to-back matches here. So we saw it with the Slater and Ryder, and now we get it in this six-man. But other than that, you know, it was a fine match for what it was. You know, it's definitely the third best fight of the night on my end. It's a solid 2.5 star match for the effort. So, and here comes a very surprising development that came out of this. When Bullock and I heard this, we just couldn't believe it. Michael Fletcher, feel free to chime in on this if you would like. You know, at Fastlane, we're going to get Kalisto and Del Rio for the United States Heavyweight Championship. We all know that. We all thought it was going to be on the main card and whatnot. It's been bumped to the kickoff show. Yep. Del Rio and Kalisto will battle for the United States Heavyweight Championship on the kickoff show.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's what Bullock said when we heard about it. Fletcher, how do you feel about that? Okay, I guess there's no comment. Here's the thing, though. There was a backstage segment with the League of Nations afterward. You know, Del Rio had an interview with Renee Young, and he basically.
You know what? I'm just gonna say this, but I'm sorry, my mic kind of started wonking out when I wanted to jump in on something. I'd rather hold my tongue and not say anything, because if I actually did say what I wanted to say, put the women and children to bed.
Oh, definitely. Ultimate Cerebral Viper mode. So, but here's the thing, though. There is more to this. You know how the kickoff shows are an hour long. Everybody knows that. So, Del Rio and Kalisto are going to battle for the U.S. title, but Alberto Del Rio, in a backstage moment with Renee Young, he actually says that I don't want this to be a one-fall match. I want this to be Intercontinental rules. And Michael Fletcher, what are Intercontinental rules? A la Gorilla Monsoon. You know what that means. I guess.
Well, Intercontinental rules means that we're going for the best 2 out of 3 falls.
You got it.
Now that makes it actually interesting. That actually makes it worth going for the pre-show fight. So, okay, they redeemed themselves. Good job.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. But I know Bullock probably still has reservations about it. But kickoff show's an hour long, so and that'll give them an appropriate amount of time to build to that 2 out of 3 falls match. So that's pretty much all there is to say about it. I don't think it's official yet, but Del Rio just wanted it. But I got a feeling they are going to make that official. So I think we can consider that intercontinental rules. So, but anyways, the fight is 2.5 stars, third best fight of the night. So, Michael Bullock, your thoughts on the sixth man with League of Nations going over Adrian Neville and the Luchas in 9 minutes and 20 seconds?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars as well. I mean, yeah, I mean the match was fine for what it was, and regarding that Kalisto and Del Rio for the U.S. title, I mean, originally when I heard it was just gonna be a regular match and it was gonna be on the kickoff show, I was ready to lose my mind. But now that it's 2 out of 3 falls, and now that I come to think of it, maybe this is a way to get people to watch watch the Fastlane pay-per-view. So yeah, I gotta give WWE credit. I think they did redeem themselves in it. And this is an hour-long pre-show. Now, if this was a half-hour pre-show, then I would say, all right, this shouldn't be on the kickoff show. This should be on the main card. But this is an hour long, and yeah, I mean, I'm down with that. So yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to say. 2.5 stars on the match. So yeah, so with that being said, Florio, I think we're getting into our next Divas match.
Yes, it was the Irish last kicker, Becky Lynch, going up against Naomi, of course, flagged by Tamina Snuka, of course. And of course, they did an angle earlier in the day. They had a video on that aired on their Facebook page of Naomi and Tamina attacking Becky Lynch as Becky Lynch was arriving to the pond in Anaheim. But nonetheless, they had the match, Naomi against Becky Lynch, and winner of the match in 2 minutes and 10 seconds, it was Becky Lynch via the disarmer. And one thing led to another, and of course, Tamina and Naomi tried to get the best of Becky Lynch again. That was until a certain boss showed up. Oh yes, your girl Fletch. Well, you're and Bill McConnell's girl. Sasha Banks would show up, and craziness would ensue. So, Michael Bullock, your thoughts on all this? On the happenings of this
What was
match.
the time of the fall again?
2 minutes and 10 seconds.
I hate to say this, but I'm gonna have to give this a dud in my honest opinion. I mean, it was just too short for my liking, and it's a damn shame. I mean these two to me, I mean, I think they can wrestle, but for them to give it a short amount of time, I mean, I say it's a little pointless in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, after the match, of course, Naomi and Tamina double team Becky Lynch, and then Fletch's girl, the boss, Sasha Banks, shows up, even up the odds. So yeah, so it'll be very interesting to see how Becky and Sasha get along for their tag team match at Fastlane. So to me, I'm gonna have to give this a dud. But once again I said, damn shame that it has to come from two women who can wrestle. So Florio, I give it to you.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but this was an absolute dud. It was one of those if you blinked you missed it type fights. I mean, it was over before it started, and they went for several near falls, and Becky Lynch managed to get a disarmer, and it was over like that. And then Sasha Banks comes out, and that's pretty much all there is to say about it. So, tag match at Fastlane, we all know it's Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch going up against Naomi and Tamina. So, honestly, I thought that fight was going to be the pre-show fight, but no, we're going to get two Divas fights at Fastlane. So that's all I can say about that. So absolute dud. Another worst fight of the night. So we're just going to move on to what was, yes, the main event of the evening, The Big Show versus Braun Strowman with the Wyatts in tow. Big Show wins it via disqualification in 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Oh my lord! But then craziness would ensue here. Ryback would return, as well as the Demon Kane. I thought maybe there was a slight chance we could have possibly had a certain Phenom show up, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. So, but nonetheless, I know we normally do NAs for DQ finishes in most cases, but in this case, no, I can't do it. This was an absolute dud, and I can honestly say this was the worst fight of the night here. Or then again, I could give it a three-way tie for worst fight of the night between this, Becky and Tamina, or Becky and Naomi rather, and in the Heath Slater Zack Ryder matchup. I mean, three co-worst fight of the nights, all absolute duds. I mean, they were beyond horrible. That's all I can say about it. And it's the worst main event in Monday Night Raw history. Honest to goodness. I mean, that's how brutal it was. I mean, goodness. I mean, this was, well, all I can say is for the first time in a long time, I'm gonna do something I haven't done, and that is I'm basically gonna channel my inner Simon Cowell right about now. It was ghastly, it was brutal, and it had no business whatsoever. And I want to read this interesting quote from Jason Powell, who, Jason Powell was ripping on this Big Show Strowman thing pretty much throughout the Raw review, and this is what he said, and I want you guys to hear this as well. This is what Jason Powell said in regards to all this. I wish they would have aired the Austin interview with Big Show in place of this third hour of Raw. It's so hard to be excited about Show, Kane, and Ryback feuding with the Wyatt family, and it's certainly not main event worthy, especially on a go-home show. Did they phone it in because of the Grammy Awards? Have the third hour numbers been so lousy that they decided to put the meaningful material in the first couple hours? The show was fine until the Reigns and Heyman segment concluded, and then it was just a big waste of time. So, I couldn't agree more. I mean, Bullock and I thought this. Bullock and I thought if they're going to have the Big Show and Braun Strowman actually main event Monday Night Raw, don't you think there would have been a good reason for it? Don't you think they would have had some kind of humongous show closing angle here? I thought there was a possibility. I thought maybe there was a possibility we were going to see maybe The Undertaker show up or some big name show up. But no, it was just Ryback, and then we had Kane come up from under the ring and clear out the Wyatts and all that. So, oh, my Lord in heaven, this was horrible. Absolutely horrible. So it looks like we're going to have a six-man feud here. The Big Show, Kane, and Ryback going up against the Wyatt family. Maybe sans Bray Wyatt, because the hot rumor is that Bray Wyatt's going to fight Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. So I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see how this all goes down. But oh, that was brutal. Absolutely brutal. It was ghastly. I mean, I don't know who came up with this idea, but phoning it in because of the Grammys, hey, that makes sense. Because we all know the Grammy Awards are a very big deal. So, and honestly, I was very upset that they had to air it on a Monday night for this time around. It's usually on a Sunday night, which I cannot believe for the life of me they put it on a Monday night. Yeah, I'm still scratching my head about that. So, all right, I'm done. I've had my piece. So, absolute dud, worst fight of the night, and I can honestly say worst main event in Monday Night Raw history. So, it made all those stupid Michael Cole matches from a few years ago look like five-star classics. Give me a break. So with all that said, Michael Bullock, your thoughts on this ghastly monstrosity at the end of this show tonight?
WWE, I mean, are you really trying to get under my skin here? Well, congratulations, you did. I mean, what was the point of this being the main event? I mean, if there was a reason, maybe you would have had like some kind of big surprise that we didn't expect, but this is all we got? Dud. Ugh. Pointless, unnecessary, unacceptable, inexcusable, irresponsible, borderline reprehensible, and once again, just plain stupidity on the part of WWE. You want to know who did it, Florio? Mr. McMagma did it. He was the one who probably came up with this freaking idea of making this the main event of Monday Night Raw. I mean, this is the way you want to end your go-home show of Monday Night Raw to Fastlane? No. No, I don't like it. It sucks. It stinks. I don't like it. And to me, WWE, I haven't said this in a while, but I'm going to say this now. It need more words of Ren and
Ren and
Stimpy.
Stimpy.
You
You
idiots!
idiot!
Get the you-know-what out with that shit. You bunch of effing morons.
Dinkelberg.
And Dinkelbergs as well. So, screw you, WWE. Thanks a lot for ruining my night with an ending like this. I'm done. I'm finished. Please, Fletcher. I'm,
There's
I'm done with this nonsense.
there's nothing to really add to this. There's nothing to add to this. You guys nailed it. You know, if I would have known that this was the main event on Monday Night Raw, I would have looked at you guys and I've been like, what type of show did we get tonight? Like I said, because I was busy, you know, I have my job, I have my stuff, I have my things going on, and unfortunately, it, I mean, this is one of those times where, you know, normally I would do the DVR thing and get an opportunity, but you know, I didn't have enough time to do it in time, and this is what I get. Sorry, WWE, you kind of mucked it. Now I get it. Grammys were tonight, and for the most part, a lot of people were watching Grammys. I don't know what the overnight rating's going to be, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be higher than in the last couple of years. I mean, CBS has been having quite a decent run lately. Um, they had a good number for the Super Bowl, not as high as recent years, but still, it was a respectable number that they had for the game. There's really nothing more to add. So, gentlemen, go ahead. Give me your overall review of tonight's Monday Night Raw.
And I believe it's Michael Bullock who starts that. So Michael Bullock, your thoughts on this Go Home to Fastlane edition of Monday Night Raw. So Michael Bullock, it's all yours.
Well, in the beginning, looked like we were on our way to a really good edition of Monday Night Raw. But then it seemed like after the Paul Heyman Roman Reigns segment, it just went flat out downhill from here. And because of that, I know this may sound harsh, but I'm giving this a 4.5 to 5 out of 10 in my honest opinion. I mean, yeah, you had good matches and some good segments here, but it's just that final hour where you had some dud matches like Heath Slater and Zack Ryder, and of course that Becky Lynch and Naomi, who deserve better than that. And you get that. I mean, this was a dud as well, and then the main event really, really smelled like shit. I mean, ugh. I mean, if it weren't for that, if it weren't for some of those segments and matches before that, I honestly could have said this was probably would have been the worst Raw ever. So, but because of the way that last hour went, I'm sorry. I can only go 4.5 to 5 out of 10 in my opinion. So, thanks a lot WWE for ruining the show tonight, you morons. Florio, go.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get an overall review from Fletcher since he only saw the main events, and that wouldn't make sense. So hang tight, Fletcher, and get ready for your Mikey's Mindset, which will be coming up in just a little bit here. Yeah, I think I'll be generous here and give it like a 5 out of 10, a 50-50 show. I think that's the best I can go here tonight. It was basically because of the in-ring segments, the talking segments. I mean, you had like 4 of them, and they were all very good. That Dudley heel promo was very good. The opening segment with Dean Ambrose and Stephanie McMahon was very good. And then those 2 great segments with Charlotte and Brie Bella, and then, of course, the segment with Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns. Those 4 in-ring segments were all very, very good. And then you had 3 solid wrestling matches. Fight of the night, that 5-way for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, which Kevin Owens won it and became the new champion for the second time. Solid 3.5 stars on that. Second best fight of the night has to be AJ Styles and The Miz. Solid 3 stars for that. And then, of course, rounding out the top 3 for fights of the night would have to be the 6-man with the League of Nations and the against the Luchas and Adrian Neville. 2.5 stars there. And then you had a halfway decent Divas match with Paige and Summer Rae, with Summer Rae pulling off a massive upset. That was a solid match, and then solid match, and then a decent fight. Yeah, a couple of okay in the middle of the road matches. That was one of them, and the other one being Mark Henry and Big E Langston. And then, of course, 3 dud enhancement fights, like Bullock said, Heath Slater, Zack Ryder, Becky Lynch, and Naomi. Yes, I 100% agree with you, Bullock. They both deserve way better than that because they're 2 of the better workers in the Divas division, hands down, based on the body of work of both of those young ladies. And then, of course, the main event, which, like I said, I cannot believe when it comes what a difference a week makes. A week ago, the main event segment was the greatest in-ring segment in the history of Monday Night Raw, when you had Daniel Bryan's emotional retirement and farewell speech. And then a week later, we go from the greatest in-ring main event segment of all time to the worst main event match in Monday Night Raw history. Oh, someone slapped me. Is this a dream right now? Oh, unbelievable. So if it wasn't for all that, we would have had a much higher rate. We would have been looking at maybe 7, 7.5, maybe 8 out of 10 for this show tonight. But no way. That third hour really killed it. So I'm just going to give it a 50-50 show. I'll be generous here. I'll give it 5 out of 10. Since Bullock was leaning towards that anyway. So, oh boy. So that's all there is to say about that. So hopefully next Monday night when we go to the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit, Michigan, which is where we officially start the road to WrestleMania, right there. So, because we'll be done with Fastlane, so we'll get into all that.
This is where WWE really needs to pick it up.
WrestleMania season. That's all there is to say. So with all that said, Michael Fletcher, I don't know if you're ready for your to grace us with your Mikey's mindset.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Michael Fletcher, the Cerebral Viper, for his Mikey's mindset, as he will give us the latest news. He'll give us his thoughts on the latest Ring of Honor show, last week's Ring of Honor show, last week's Lucha Underground show, and I understand, Fletch, you're also going to give us maybe a mini recap of the RWA Elite status from this past weekend.
I'm going to give you a little bit, not a big recap. However, I do know a lot of things have broken down last night, but I will say this. Let's dive in right now to Ring of Honor. That started it off. We had, once again, the top prospect fight. It was Lio Rush going up against Jason Kincaid. Lio Rush wins. He moves on to the semifinals. The next thing we had Caprice Coleman and Will Ferrara going up against Silas Young and Beer City Bruiser in tag team action. The winner of the fight was Capri Coleman and Will Ferrara, thanks to Dalton Castles and the boys. They showed up and they kind of interfered, and that gave an opportunity for Caprice Coleman and Will Ferrara to get the victory. And it looks like Prince Nana might be involved because of the fact, as many people know, a couple of months back, Prince Nana gave Caprice Coleman that mysterious envelope. He gave a mysterious envelope to Will Ferrara. What does it mean? What was in those envelopes? Well, it looks like Prince Nana might be working an angle here that he might be acquiring some talent. One other person who also got a mysterious envelope not too long ago was actually oh wait a minute, who was it? Was it Young? No, it wasn't Silas Young. It was one from the House of Truth, if I remember correctly. I just forgot the member's name. He got kicked out recently, and Nana gave him a mysterious envelope. Well, we'll get into it. When I find out who the guy is, maybe I'll do it on next week's Mikey's Mindset. But let's continue on. Then we had Jay Briscoe go one-on-one with Tim Hughes. Jay Briscoe wins. That was an easy fight. In the main event this week, it was Matt Sydal and ACH versus the Young Bucks in tag team action. And believe it or not, Matt Sydal and ACH actually gets the victory. Big win for them against the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. So definitely a big reason to celebrate for them. Let's move over to Lucha Underground. Okay, we had Corbia Moon versus against the Bengal. Okay, I'm sorry guys. This one was a complete and utter dud. This fight ended in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. The action was horrible. And for me, as a big Lucha Underground mark, this was the first ever dud in Lucha Underground history that I ever ranked that fight. And that is huge for me because I'm a diehard for Lucha Underground, and that was garbage. Then we had Jack Evans versus Drago, one-on-one. Jack Evans wins, 2.5 stars as I get for the rating. And then we had Phoenix versus the King of Gods champion, King Cuerno, in a last luchador standing match. Guys, it's the equivalent of last man standing. Fight of the night. Phoenix wins it. 4.5 stars in that fight. Unbelievable match, and it was truly a great main event to say the very least. Now, did something else. I actually wanted it to review NXT real quickly. Byron Corbin beat Johnny Guerrero. That was a one-on-one match. Hype Bros beat Holland and Skyler. Alexa Bliss beat Cameron. Samson beat Jesse Sorensen, and Bayley successfully defended the NXT Women's Championship over Carmella. That was a brief little update for the NXT. I'm going to add that to my little litany of shows for next week for the Mikey's Mindset. So now I'm going to talk about RWA. Yes, the show went down on Saturday night from the Chop Shop in Providence, Rhode Island. It was a very interesting event from the feedback I'm getting from my RWA insiders. A lot of news broke out. Number one, 3 wrestlers were fired from RWA, and more importantly, we got a new president. Devin Blades is now the new president. Now, hey, wait a minute. He wanted me personally to call him this. So this is not coming from RWA management. This is coming from Devin Blades himself. He wants me from now on to refer to him as President God Devin Blades. So President God Devin Blades fired 3 individuals from RWA. On top of that, we have a new female correspondent, an interviewer. Her name is, I believe, Samantha Cole. Wish her nothing but the best of luck. But gentlemen, the biggest story coming out of this show, or I could say the biggest takeaway coming out of the show that went down at the Chop Shop this past week is, gentlemen, history was made. That's right. We have a new RWA Triple Crown champion, and his name is Jammin' Jack Connor. He wins the belt. He won it in a triple threat match. He defeated the Unbalanced Messiah Christopher Dozier, and he also defeated the Brick David Baker in a triple threat match, and he is now the new undisputed RWA Triple Crown champion. And You know what? I'm trying to get the photos to show you the proof. And gentlemen, here it is. I am going to screen share this right now for all you fans out there. The proof is in the pudding, and here it is. Jammin' Jack Connor, the new RWA Triple Crown champion. Now, here's the thing. That belt was custom made at the time for Christopher Dozier as the Triple Crown champion. So what I believe and what I've heard, and this is not from, and this is from RWA management. Now, there was a belt previously before this belt was created. There was another belt that RWA had. Now the question is, are they going to custom make a new Triple Crown championship for Jack Connor, or are they going to give him the traditional RWA Triple Crown championship belt that was given to every other wrestler before Dozier got it? Whatever the case may be, we will find out, because very soon, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a new event coming up very soon, and here it is. I'm going to try to reveal it right now for all you guys out there. The next RWA show is this. It's called Perseverance. It will go down on Saturday night, March 18th. Yes, if you know the date, that is one day after St. Patrick's Day. It will be live from the RWA Chop Shop at Providence, Rhode Island at 681 Broadway. And we do not know about ticket information as of yet. We do not know any matches as of yet. But when I do start hearing matches, either from RWA management or personally by President God Devin Blades, then hopefully I will get the okay from them to announce matches on the Wrestling Forum in future dates. One other thing, and this is actually something that I'm trying to personally do and hopefully will happen. I have gotten in contact with Jack Connor's camp, and currently right now the producers of the Wrestling Forum and the Mikey's Mindset and RWA management, and more importantly Jack Connor's camp, we are negotiating at this time to possibly get Jack Connor on this show for an exclusive interview with the RWA Triple Crown champion. Now, nothing is etched in stone as of yet. We're still working on it, but I am hoping that in the very near future, hopefully maybe in the next few weeks, maybe in a month or so, we will have Jammin' Jack Connor on the Wrestling Forum or on Braves Fan 95 as a Mikey's Mindset exclusive. But I'm trying to get Jack Connor on this program very soon. So with that said, that's the Mikey's Mindset. Anthony Florio, it's time for your Tony's Take.
Oh my goodness, how do you follow that? Man, oh man alive. I mean, can you imagine if we get Jammin' Jack Connor, the RWA Triple Crown champion? Now, Triple Crown Championship, that's the big one, right? Isn't that their heavyweight championship?
That is the big one. That is the heavyweight championship of the world.
Wow, that would be something, huh? I mean, could you imagine that? I mean, your channel's already taken off like gangbusters, Michael Fletcher. I mean, don't believe me? Check out our last view count of our Super Bowl 50 recap show on his channel. 1,170 views, folks. Oh, by the way, could you imagine how many views he'll get if it's a Mikey's Mindset exclusive, or if we do it right here on the Zone 25 for the Wrestling Forum? That would be unbelievable. I mean, it could end up being my highest watched video ever. I mean, the most views I ever got for a video was 185. For when I previewed the Money in the Bank event, I believe it was 2 years ago. So keep that in mind. So, all right. Now it's time for Tony's Take here. Give you my thoughts on TNA Impact Wrestling. Of course, it was last week's show in Manchester, England. It started it off with an in-ring segment with Matt Hardy, with Rebby and Tyrus and little Maxwell. Very good heel promo. That's all I can say. Probably I would say second best segment of the night there. Bobby Lashley went one-on-one with Bram Lashley. Bobby Lashley wins that in 5 minutes and 45 seconds. Solid match, probably 1.5 to 2 stars at best. Then we had an in-ring segment. Kurt Angle interrupted by Maria Kanellis and the Miracle Mike Bennett, her husband. Another great segment here. I would say third best segment of the night only because of the Matt Hardy stuff. There were 2 Matt Hardy segments. Both of them were incredible, so I can only give it third best segment of the night. I thought it was a very good segment. And then Trevor Lee defending the TNA X Division Championship against Tigre Uno. Trevor Lee successfully defends it in 5 minutes and 20 seconds. Another 1.5 to 2 star fight there. And then we had tag team match, James Storm and Bobby Roode, Beer Money going up against the Decay, Crazy Steve and Abyss with Rosemary in their corner. Beer Money wins it in 5 minutes and 45 seconds. Solid 2-star fight there. And then we're not going to talk about the backstage segment. Well, actually, it was a segment there. Grado entered the ring, cut a promo about being fired, and then Eli Drake, and then there was a segment there. So, okay, somewhat okay segment. And then we had a knockouts match. Jade of the Dollhouse going up against Madison Rayne. Jade wins it in 4 minutes and 20 seconds with the help of her cohorts, Marty Bell and Rebel. About 1.5 stars there, 1 to 1.5. And then the main event of the evening, as part of the Kurt Angle farewell tour, Kurt Angle against Drew Galloway. And Drew Galloway gets the victory in 15 minutes and 20 seconds. Far and away the fight of the night. 3.5 to 4 stars. Fantastic main event. Drew Galloway with a submission. It's not often we see Kurt Angle tap out, but Drew Galloway with a crossface type submission gets the win. And then an in-ring segment with Matt Hardy and his crew with Dixie Carter. And then an interruption by Rockstar Spud and then Ethan Carter III. This was the segment of the night. A great way to close out the show. A very good Impact Wrestling show. I'd have to give it probably 7 out of 10 because of the in-ring segment with Matt Hardy. Both in-ring segments. Matt Hardy's the heel Matt Hardy is continuing to really impress me. Really loving his body of work right now as the World Heavyweight Champion. Both segments with him were great. Opening segment and the main event segment. Great segment with Kurt Angle and Mike Bennett. That could be something fun down the road. I would love to see Mike Bennett and Kurt Angle in a match. That'd be pretty cool. And then, of course, Kurt Angle and Drew Galloway. Far and away fight of the night, no doubt. Tonight's show, when it comes to Impact Wrestling for tonight, which you can see at 9 o'clock on Pop TV, or if you miss it, or you just want to see it again, you can catch an encore of it at midnight. It'll start with another in-ring segment with Matt Hardy and his camp, and it'll get interrupted by Ethan Carter III and Rockstar Spud. The Miracle, Mike Bennett, along with his wife Maria Kanellis. Maria will be in his corner when Mike Bennett goes up against Mandrews. And then we have a King of the Mountain Championship match. With Eric Young defending against Beer Money's James Storm. How about a Monsters Ball match for the TNA World Tag Team Championship? Champions, the Wolves, Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards defending against the Decay, Abyss, and Crazy Steve. That's in a Monsters Ball match for the TNA World Tag Team Championship. Odarg the Great, which is Grado in a mask. He's going to team up with Mahabali Shera to take on Jesse Goddard and Eli Drake. I believe I'm reading that correctly. And then we'll have Knockouts Tag Team action. TNA Knockouts champion Gail Kim will team up with Madison Rayne to take on Jade and Marty Bell of the Dollhouse. And then in the main event of the evening, TNA World Heavyweight Champion Matt Hardy and Tyrus, a.k.a. Brodus Clay, going up against the newly reunited Ethan Carter III and Rockstar Spud. That's your main event for Impact for this week. So check it out tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, Pop TV. Check your local listings for all that. So that concludes the TNA Impact portion of Tony's Take. Now we'll dive into Thursday Night SmackDown, which was live, which was taped on the Tuesday night from the Moda Center in Portland, Oregon, formerly the Rose Garden. It started with an in-ring segment with well, it was supposed to be a match. It was supposed to be the big match between AJ Styles and Chris Jericho, and then they were interrupted by the Social Outcasts, and then it led into a tag team match: AJ Styles and Chris Jericho against Social Outcast members Adam Rose and Curtis Axel. Jericho and AJ win the match in 7 minutes and 34 seconds via that springboard elbow by AJ Styles. 2 to 2.25 star, maybe 2.25, yeah, about 2.25, 2.5 stars for that fight. Okay fight. Nice setup match for their main event match later on. And then we had the heel promo by the Dudley Boys. Fantastic promo, segment of the night, far and away. And then we had a Divas match. Sasha Banks against Naomi. Sasha Banks wins it in 13 minutes and 22 seconds via the Banks statement. Second best fight of the night. 3 to 3.25 to 3.5 stars. This was a fantastic Divas match. Very good match. They developed an interesting dynamic with her and Sasha and Becky. So a very good match, to say the very least. One of the better Diva fights on SmackDown I've seen in a long time. Wyatt family promo. They cut a heel promo. I probably would say second best segment of the night. That's all I can say there. And then we had a 6-man tag team match. Adrian Neville and the Lucha Dragons against the Cosmic Wasteland. Adrian Neville and the Lucha Dragons won it 3 minutes and 32 seconds via the Red Arrow from Neville. I probably would have to say worst fight of the night, although I am going to give it about 1.5 stars for the effort. And then it led to the main event. The phenomenal AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho wins the match via the code breaker in 15 minutes and 31 seconds. Fight of the night, 3.5 to 4 stars. This was a fantastic main event. And I would honestly say it was better than the match they had on Monday Night Raw. So that's all I can say about that. Overall review of the show, I probably would give it somewhere between 7.5 to 8 out of 10. A very good edition of SmackDown. Very good. Some great action throughout the show. Couple of matches and segments here and there could have been better, but I think 7.5 to 8 out of 10 is the best I can give this show for this week. And the commentary continues to be top notch. I'm really continuing to love Mauro Ranallo. I mean, now I know why Michael Fletcher. Now I know why you've been gushing over that guy for so long. I mean, I know you know his body of work better than any of us, and I tell you, man, it's been an honor for me to get to listen to Mauro Ranallo's body of work. I mean, he just keeps getting better and better and better, and I just hope one day he'll get to call a pay-per-view. I mean, I think he deserves a pay-per-view down the road. So, and Jerry Lawler on the heel shtick. I mean, that's starting to grow on me a little bit, and of course Saxton. So, yeah, good things happening on SmackDown. Good things, and of course this week on SmackDown, as you know, guys. That tag team main event, Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose going up against the Dudley Boys. That should be a very good tag team main event. And then, of course, Brock Lesnar. Yes, Brock Lesnar will be back. The Beast Incarnate. His first SmackDown appearance in 12 years since the road to WrestleMania 20 back in 2004. So, can't wait to see what the Beast and Paul Heyman will have in store for us. And then we'll find out the rest of the action via the spoilers when they come out tomorrow night. So that show will be taped in Ontario, California. So keep your eye out for the spoilers for that. So, all right. So that'll put the ball on this edition of the Wrestling Forum. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. It's time for our shout-outs. Michael Bullock, if you're with us, hopefully you are.
I'm right here.
All right, very good. Because he's had a tendency to drift off during the end of the show, but I'm glad he's here. So, Michael Bullock. It's been a while since you've done this, so let's have your shout-outs now.
Definitely glad to be here for the shout-outs now. Of course, shout-outs to, of course, we want to thank you all so very much for tuning in for another edition of the Wrestling Forum here tonight. And, of course, shout-outs to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to support our shows, whether it's this show or Strictly Sports. It doesn't matter. We really appreciate it. And, of course, shout-outs to our super fans, Dee Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson, Matt Ward, and Jason Hickson-Ma. Of course, shout-outs to all of our friends from our high school days, Al Berterson, Jimmy Alden, Rob Parsons, Eric Carrier, Tom Souza, the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, Megan Silva, the First Lady of Strictly Sports, Kaisa Butler, To the Hardcore Pipe Bomb, Derek Ferreira, for his continued success on the sports blog and with his numerous YouTube videos. And yeah, if you haven't caught his sports blog, definitely you gotta check it out because it's worth it. So yeah, that's gonna do it for me. I'll save the rest of my shoutouts Friday night on Strictly Sports. So until then, this is the Phenom Mike Bullock saying thank you all so very much for tuning in. And of course, you know the routine. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now. Enjoy the rest of your week, everybody. So, Fletcher, I give it to you with your shoutouts.
Yeah, first off, I want to say thank you to all the great fans out there who makes the Wrestling Forum and Strictly Sports, as always, as awesome as they are. And, you know, based off all the stuff that's been happening in the past, you guys are the best fans in the world. I don't think we can say that enough. And you guys have really been coming at with us in droves. And, I mean, you want to talk about mind blowing. Like Anthony said, when we did the Super Bowl recap video, I had no idea the power of you guys, and it really, really, really resonated with us so much, and then some. I mean, I think all three of us were overwhelmed with the response, and we were very shocked, to say the very least. And we hope to do that again for you guys very soon. Actually, we'll do it again Sunday night when I do the recap video for Fastlane. So I mean, it's going to be very exciting, to say the very least. Of course, to all the super fans out there, you guys already know who you guys are. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. Friends from the junior high and high school days, my 2184 crew, as always. And I just want to say that's it. Again, sorry to say, work commitments beyond my control. I won't be on Strictly Sports this Friday night. However, I will be back. I actually, and no, I won't be able to do the preview video either on Saturday because of the work commitments. So what I'm gonna do is I might do a video on Wednesday to give my official predictions for Fastlane, and then from there, I'll see you guys Sunday night for the recap on RaceFan 95. So, with that said, you know the routine. Hugs and ham pounds. I'm out. Good night, Florio. Take it home, kid.
All right, will do, Michael Fletcher. Of course, we want to send a special shout out to all of you tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to make the Wrestling Forum and Strictly Sports as ridiculously over as they are. We appreciate it as always. At last count on Michael Fletcher's video, 1,180 views for our Super Bowl recap show on Fletcher's Braves Fan 95 channel. So, yeah, that's a testament to what makes you the best fans in the world. I mean, to get that many views for one of our videos, I mean, that's just unbelievable. And Derek and the producers of Strictly Sports are now considering it the greatest broadcast in Strictly Sports history, even better than our Mayweather-Pacquiao preview show from last year, and of course that infamous June 6th of 2013 show when me and Bullock and Derek celebrated the Bruins going to the Stanley Cup Finals when we did the Feed Me More and all that good stuff. That to me is my all-time favorite Strictly Sports show of all time on a personal level, but it is what it is. But 1,180 views, that's just unbelievable. So you are the best fans in the world, and we cannot thank you enough. We love and appreciate you guys. Honestly, God bless you all for that. Our traditional shout-outs, our super fans, Dee Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson, and the entire Woodson family, Matt Ward, Jason Hicksonbaugh, our insiders and contributors, Daniel Luttrell, our aspiring filmmaker from the UK, our first ladies, Megan Silva and Kaiser Butler, and the rest of our crew, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Albert Raderson, who celebrated a birthday this past weekend. So a very special happy birthday shout out to our good friend Albert Raderson. And of course, Rob Parsons as well. And last but certainly not least, the man, the myth, the legend, the hardcore pipe bomb, Derek Ferreira. The sports blog continuing to heat up. I mean, he does fantastic work with that, folks. He really, really does. You really have to give that a whirl. I mean, whether he talks about professional wrestling or the other sports like the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, NHL, college, what have you, soccer, I mean, that's his wheelhouse. So So that's all there is to say about that. So yeah. So that'll do it for my shout outs. Lost my train of thought there. So, oh yeah, I'll save the rest of my shout outs for Friday night, and I do officially have the docket. I have the docket for this upcoming Friday, Strictly Sports, and Michael Bullock. You just heard the news from Michael Fletcher. Fletcher will not be here, so the Yes Movement will be running the show again on a Friday night, and it's going to be another abbreviated show because we don't have much on the docket here. So here is Friday's docket. Here is the docket for this Friday's edition of Strictly Sports. New York Mets pitcher Yenry Mejia, lifetime ban. He's been banned for life from Major League Baseball after testing positive again for performance-enhancing drugs. So we're gonna definitely get into that. Yenry Mejia, lifetime ban from Major League Baseball. Only the second one to ever receive that. Of course, we all know the other, of course, Pete Rose. Back in 1989, when he was banned for life for gambling. But this is the first lifetime ban under the new steroid policy in Major League Baseball. So very big deal. We definitely have to get into that. We'll also have a recap of NBA All-Star Saturday night. And let me tell you, friends, if you didn't see NBA All-Star Saturday night this past Saturday night, where the hell were you? It was the best one I ever saw.
I agree with that. It was amazing.
Start to finish.
Yeah, I was about to say that too.
From start to finish, guys. That Taco Bell Skills Challenge, especially that championship match with Karl Anthony Towns going up against Isaiah Thomas. I mean, that was a thing of beauty. And then how about the three-point shootout? I mean, with Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson knocking off his teammate Stephen Curry and a surprise finalist, Devin Booker of the Phoenix Suns, who qualified via a three-point tiebreaker. So, and then of course, what many are calling, including Michael Fletcher, the greatest slam dunk contest in history. Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine with a performance for the ages. Greatest All-Star, and we're gonna dive fully into that on Friday night. If I had to give a rating on that, it was a perfect 10. That's all I can say about it. That show was a perfect 10 from start to finish. Greatest All-Star Saturday night I ever saw in all the years I've been watching / covering NBA All-Star Saturday night. That's just an early thought on that. I'll go into full detail Friday night. We'll also recap the NBA All-Star game. Record-setting All-Star game, oh, by the way. Yeah, the outcome was never in doubt, but we almost saw a team score 200 points. Almost. Just a few points short, 196. So the Yenry Mejia lifetime ban, the recap of NBA All-Star Saturday night and All-Star game. And honestly, I thought we were going to be doing the NHL Power Rankings, but no, it's not the NHL Power Rankings. We're actually going to be doing the college basketball Power Rankings for a second time. So it's the lifetime ban of Yenry Mejia from Major League Baseball, the recaps of All-Star Saturday night and the NBA All-Star game, and in the main event, it will be our second college basketball Power Rankings. And I'll tell you right now, it's going to be a lot different than that inaugural one we did a few weeks back. So let's keep that in mind. So that's your docket for Friday night on Strictly Sports, 10:30 right here on the Tone 25. Hope to have you all with us for that. So that will now put the bow on this edition of the Wrestling Forum. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. And until Friday night for Strictly Sports, it's ridiculously over Anthony Florio here for the Cerebral Viper Michael Fletcher, for the Phenom Michael Bullock, and in spirit the Hardcore Pipe I'm Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune Force style. Have a great and blessed rest of the week, everybody. And until 10:30 Friday night for Strictly Sports, you've been watching the Wrestling Forum right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. And for now, Anthony Florio, so long.